Well, hello, everybody. It's Kevin O'Neal, and it is the Kevin and Andrew Have a Podcast show.
Yes.
Number 2.
Episode 2. Technically, it's 2.5, 2.2 since we recorded yesterday, and it just didn't work good, which is unfortunate because I went through a whole bottle of wine, and I killed a mosquito while we were recording.
You know what we can do with this, though? We can actually go back and have the best of, or maybe have an outtake show. And we can do that, and then the guys will get to hear, the people will get to hear all our fun antics that we did.
That was a pretty vicious round with the mosquito. It
was vicious. It was very vicious, and I was very glad that you won that round. By the way,
at least I think I did, because when we were done, I used my cell phone to look for it because it was dark, and I couldn't see it. So I don't know if it went into hiding or not, but I haven't seen it all day.
It's that time of the year when the dragonflies and all the insects are out and about, and they're getting into the light of the studios and getting into the light of the houses and the porch lights and the whole bit. And it's crazy out there. It's just crazy. It's the springtime. Of course, they can get out and have a good time and enjoy their little flying around antics and whatever. And here we are stuck in quarantine.
Gotta love it. Good stuff. Good. However, I did go out to the store today to get dinner. So I think I'm having tacos tonight.
Yum.
If memory serves me correctly. I don't know. It's been about 4 hours since I was there. So hopefully that's what I'm having tonight.
Well, hopefully eventually we'll be able to be in the studio together here. But right now I'm in my studio. You're in your studio, and it's all good.
Yes. All good in the neighborhood.
And we worked on the camera work yesterday. We did some things. We did, it was kind of a trial run. I guess we needed to have that trial run, and we hadn't had that yet so far. We just kind of jumped into this whole thing 2 weeks ago, and I have had allergies for a couple of weeks, as you can tell. I'm going, so you have to bear with me. My voice sounds good when it's kind of deep, though, a little bit, but otherwise, it's
that radio sound.
It's that radio voice. That's right, that radio.
Yeah. You sound a lot better than you did last week for the first episode.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. We're talking about. I'm going to take some Zyrtec here in a little bit. I'm taking the Zyrtec.
Hey, that is nature's magic. Let me tell you, I live by Zyrtec. Absolutely live by. I've tried the other stuff, like the Claritins of the world and whatnot. Does not work on me. It's Zyrtec.
Now, I know a lot of people who take Claritin, but the thing is I don't like it. It makes me feel weird. Zyrtec. I had a bad sinus infection it's been several years now. It's probably been 7, 8, maybe 10 years even now. I don't know. It's been a long time. And the doctor prescribed me Z-Pak and Zyrtec and Benadryl.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of stuff.
And he made me take Robitussin with it, too. It was like 4 things I had to take to kill all of this sinus infection. And it did. It worked great. And they gave me a steroid shot, too.
I will admit, now that I think about it, there is one other thing that does work on me. Xyzal. Have you ever tried that?
I've never even heard of that.
Xyzal. It's got like an X and a Y and I think a Z in the title. XYZAL. Xyzal.
I've never heard of it.
It works, too. It's pretty good stuff.
Wow. Okay. Well,
yeah.
I know you don't drink orange juice with the one that you're not supposed to. They have that one that you don't drink orange juice with.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know the 3. There's one other one that they came out with, and you're not supposed to drink orange juice with it. Don't drink it.
What happens? Now I need to know.
I don't know. It's I don't know. I've never drank orange juice with it. I never even took that medicine because I thought, well, I like orange juice, so I'm not going to drink it.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not going to take it. So I've been a Zyrtec fan for years. Zyrtec, if you're listening, you can advertise with us. Just give us a call.
Yes, please call us.
The very best podcast at gmail.com.
It is.
That's how you can email us, by the way, people. We have new setups here. You can email us your information or your comments or whatever you want.
It's not the very best podcast at gmail.com. That's not what you made it.
Is that what is? It's just the
best. It's KOAC podcast.
Oh, okay.
The KOAC podcast.
Okay.
At gmail.com.
You're right. Thank you for correcting me there.
Yeah. Well, if we're going to get emails, people have to know.
KOAC podcast at gmail.com. He's absolutely right.
Which are our initials, yeah.
We are the very best podcast, though.
Yes. If you go to Facebook and just type in the very best podcast, that's us.
That's our nickname, the very best podcast.
The very best podcast.
And yes, you can see us on Facebook, too. Become a fan on Facebook. At Kevin and Andrew Have a Podcast, the very best podcast.
The very best podcast. Oh, YouTube also, because if you're listening to this on like an iHeartRadio or like a Spotify, that's cool. But you got to really subscribe to the YouTube channel because you can actually see us interact with each other visually.
You know, and let's talk about that because we are actually a national podcast. We are.
Well, yeah.
We're on
if
Apple
you look at it
Podcast.
anything on the internet's national, I guess.
Let's talk about that. We're on several podcast places now. We're on Apple Podcast.
Yeah.
We're on Spotify.
Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts.
Deezer.
Yeah.
We're on Deezer.
Mm-hmm.
We're on
Stitcher.
Castbox.
We're on Stitcher also.
Yeah. Castbox.
Or not Stitcher. I'm sorry. Spreaker. We're on Spreaker. I get those two mixed up all the time.
I think we're on Stitcher too.
If we're on Stitcher, please let me know.
Okay.
That's cool if we are.
And we're waiting to connect with iHeart. I know that I looked at all the information.
It takes a minute or two for that one to go through because it's one of the biggest networks in the world.
Yeah, they're just so political. iHeart is so political. I'm not a fan of iHeart.
It's a good platform to be on if you can get on it.
That's a great platform to be on, I'm sure, but they make me it's very political to get on there. It's very, very difficult to work with sometimes.
That's okay. I know how to navigate all of their stuff. So
you were a big iHeart guy at one time, right?
Well, I've done stuff with iHeart. I started the first high school live radio show on iHeart. It was the only one in the country that was a live streaming radio channel ran by high school kids. So that was kind of cool.
That was before, still Clear Channel had Clear Channel then, and then they bought iHeart. Is that correct?
Yeah. I got on iHeart for that purpose like 3 or 4 years ago. But before that, when iHeart had just started, when I was doing music as a recording artist, I was on several iHeart radio channels. The CW, the WB, they had a podcast channel called Radioactive back in the day. I was on that channel. Supercuts. If people that have ever got their hair done at Supercuts, I used to be on one of their streaming channels too.
Wow! So you were getting a haircut, and we'd hear Andrew Caravella on the little speaker.
And then iHeart had another channel that they had set up where it was like breakthrough artists or new artists. I was also on that channel. So I was on several different channels as an independent recording artist when I just got started. And it was a good time to get in because iHeart started developing all of their own custom channels, so it was good times.
That's amazing. That is totally amazing.
So I've always had a good relationship with iHeartRadio. Even when I got signed to a universal distribution deal back in 2014, they picked up my music. And actually, I totally forgot about this because I've done so much. iHeartRadio actually developed their own radio station specifically for me and like artists. So I'm not making this up. If you have the iHeart app and you type in Andrew Caravella Radio, I have my own radio channel that's dedicated to my music and then any like artists that are also on the channel.
That is amazing, man. Good for you. Andrew Caravella Radio. Check it out.
Andrew Caravella Radio. I'm very, very proud of that. So, here's the thing. I didn't even know that they were doing that. I had fans that had to get a hold of me and said, you have your own radio station. And I didn't know what it was. And when they sent me the link, I discovered that way. So it was really cool. It was a nice little surprise.
That is awesome, dude. Proud of you.
Yeah.
You're a good singer. You're a good singer. We talked last week about the quarantine karaoke, which is a fun site too as well.
Quarantine karaoke. I just looked. There are over 600,000 people nationwide, probably worldwide, that are on that Facebook group now. It's a public group. There is always something going on in there. Multiple people are live throughout the day doing random live karaoke stuff. It's exciting to listen to and watch.
It is. It's fun to watch sometimes. I do get on there and watch it. I have a song on there. We talked about that last week. I did an America cover called Sister Golden Hair, just on my guitar, though. I didn't actually do it with karaoke tracks. I could have done it with karaoke tracks. I know you got 7, 8, 10, 12, 1,500 songs on there probably.
Probably. So
you like to sing karaoke. You do. But you're a great singer. He was in a boy band and did a bunch of different stuff. And
no, I almost got into a boy band.
But
I chose to rebel and stay golden. Stay golden, pony boy. Now, which is funny because a lot of people mistake me as a boy bander. I had a lot of friends in the industry that were in boy bands. So, and I'm still friends with the majority of them. So, I can see where you get that idea.
Yeah. Well, I thought you were in a boy band, but you do sing a lot of boy band songs when you sing.
Because I'm good at it.
Yeah. You sing. You are good at it. It's pretty funny to watch. I mean, pretty fun to watch. Sorry.
Yeah. It's good. It's all good.
All right. Well, there we go. Hope you're doing okay. This is our episode 2. We're having a good time so far.
Yeah.
As we were talking about earlier, we had some technical difficulties. We're trying to iron out all the bugs in this podcast, but it's getting better.
Much better.
I think we can get on with our stories that we have for today. We got a bunch of stories. First one I want to open with. Why not open with this one? I told you about this earlier before we actually started the podcast. How about the new taco toaster?
Okay, you said, I asked you to tell me about it before we went on. You said wait till the show. So
Right.
Whatever happens now is completely unrehearsed.
And here's why.
I'm very interested because tacos and toasters just sounds like something that should have happened decades ago.
And you said yourself just a few minutes ago, I went to the store and I'm going to have tacos tonight, I think.
Yes, I think I'm going to.
So here's what you need to do. Next time you go to get tacos, you can do this. You can go order it online right now, Andrew. It's $20, $19.99. Maybe for an extra fee you can get 4 of them. But there's a thing called Taco Toaster. It's very cute. You can look it up. Taco Toaster. You take your tortillas, and no mess, no fuss. You know, when you cook tortillas, a lot of people take the corn shell tortillas and they stick them in the pan in the oil and crisp up the tacos, and they flip it over and get it all crispy and stuff. And they take it out, and you know how the taco's all greasy, and but you stick it on the plate and you put it on the napkins and the whole bit, and you take it and you stick it in the toaster instead. What you do is this shell thing, and I'm sure you're probably looking it up right now.
I'm looking at it right now.
And you can actually put it on the screen, maybe.
I had no idea this ever existed.
Right. I never did either. I found out about it last night. I had to talk about it today. But you take it and you put it on you take it, it's got a handle. You take your taco shell and you slide it in there and you fold it up and you stick it in the toaster and you let the taco shell toast. And then it comes out.
This is crazy.
It comes out perfectly shaped like a hard shell taco. It's not greasy. It's all toasted and crispy, and it's all shaped up.
Take a look at this.
Right, there it is, right there.
Taco toaster.
Right.
Wow. $20, just like you said. Look at that.
And it must be selling pretty good because it says the item is back ordered while you can expect it to ship by May 15th. So it's going to take you a couple of weeks to get yours.
So not in time for Cinco de Mayo, unfortunately.
No. But what a cool invention. And you see the little metal thing here at the bottom.
Yeah,
that little metal thing, you slide the taco in between that and the red thing, and you fold the taco up and you stick it in the toaster, and it toasts, and then it comes out. And
look, there it is.
These people are doing flour tortillas, though.
Look at that. That is crazy.
These people are doing flour tortillas, and that's why they look like they do.
And it's like perfect looking.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I don't have to go to Chili's anymore.
It's supposed to keep your taco, the taco's not supposed to break either. It's supposed to come up. And
that's nuts.
Isn't that crazy?
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So,
I never would have guessed. Somebody's making a lot of money off of that. Like you just said, and it says on the website it's back ordered.
At $20 a pop, yeah, somebody's going to make, because tacos are, that's an investment. That's a wise invention right there, because, look at how many people eat tacos. Every Taco Tuesday especially. That Tuesdays are going to be this guy's, he's going to be a billionaire.
Yeah, seriously. He reinvented the wheel, basically. It's what he did.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I wanted to talk about that first thing off the bat this morning. I think that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Taco Tuesday with your taco toaster.
That's a good Christmas present, I'm going to say. Definitely.
Yes, I'll get you one for Christmas, maybe.
Yes, please do. That's awesome.
I know you're going to have tacos tonight. I just had tacos the other night. They were delicious. I love tacos. I was out. I mentioned this yesterday in our little Outcast podcast that will not air. But I did get out yesterday in the quarantine, and I went to Stater Brothers, which is a local grocery store here in San Bernardino County. They're all over Southern California, but I went to the one here by my house, and I haven't been out. I have not been out.
How'd that feel?
It felt weird. I had several different... Oh, gosh, I had different feelings about it. First of all, I was nervous because, I don't want to get coronavirus. I guess if I get it, I get it. There's not much I can do about it. But I see today. I got up this morning. First thing I saw is they're having protests on Bear Valley Road, which is down the road here in Apple Valley Road. There's a big intersection here. I live in Apple Valley, California, which is it's a tri area. It's Victorville, Apple Valley, and Hesperia. All these areas it's 3 cities in one. Actually, there's actually a 4th city, which is
And
Atlanta.
for all of you that don't know, there was this cowboy named Roy Rogers, and he wrote a song called Happy Trails.
Exactly.
That's where we're talking about. That's where it all originated from,
this
Apple Valley.
This is the Roy Rogers area. Definitely. Roy Rogers. The Roy Rogers Museum used to be here. And I used to work, actually, when I came here in 1996 from Birmingham, Alabama. I worked at a station called Cat Country, KATJ.
I've heard of it.
And I came here, and I was in culture shock because in Birmingham, Alabama, it's beautiful. They got trees and rivers. You can go fishing.
That's real country.
It's real country. And I come here, and it's the high desert, and it's I'm like in the Holiday Inn in this old-timey radio station, and it was a culture shock for me.
It's California's version of what they think country is like. It's West Coast country.
It's not. It was not even. It's these guys are. It's just. It's different. It's so different out here. It's. I miss Alabama because it's just beautiful there. The land and the. It's wet. You know. It's always rains there.
I've never been. I don't think somebody like me who's been homegrown, born and raised Southern California would survive in a place like Alabama.
Oh no, you would survive there. It is beautiful there. It's gorgeous there. You would go like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's a lot of stress here in California. You know, there's millions of cars, and everybody's bumper to bumper.
Is it really like humid in Alabama? Because I would die.
Yes, it is humid in Alabama, but you get used to it. You do get used to it, just like anything. With you climate, or you get with the climate, and you learn how to deal with
acclimate, you mean?
Acclimate. Thank you very much. Man, I can't think of words today.
But you can climate also, I guess. Whatever that means.
You're not a primate. You're a climate there. But actually, no, you can acclimate to that humidity there. It's you get used to it. It's just one of those things, and it's beautiful there. Like I said, hunting. You can go out in the woods and hunt and have a good time and barbecue and just do things out in the woods there. And there's fishing, and there's lots of grass, and there's lots of trees, and it rains there. And they have the seasons. The fall there is beautiful. You can see all the trees, and the trees change color. And it's just, there's mountainous areas, and it's just really, really gorgeous there. And here, it's not, I mean, every place has its own beauty. I mean, the thing about California here, and I'll get back to the story about Stater Brothers in a second, but getting back to here, you get out in this area where we live in the high desert. And in the high desert, it is basically, you look to my southwest, and you can see the mountains over here, and and what are these mountains called?
The San Bernardino
National
County
Forest.
Mountains, National Forest.
I want to say the San Andreas Mountains, but that's not what they're called. They're called anyway. I can't think of the stupid forest. Anyway,
Well, no, it's the San Bernardino National Forest, I believe.
Right. Okay. Well, anyway, there you can see there's plenty of mountains. Wrightwood is up there. You look to my southeast, and you can see Big Bear. I mean, these are beautiful skiing resorts. They're beautiful. Yeah,
they host like things like the X Games and things like that. You know,
right?
So
it's very beautiful. And then if you get on to the freeway, we have the 15 freeway, which goes from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. I mean, we're right in the middle.
Route.
We're right in the middle, but it's beautiful.
Smack dab, actually.
And it's, so you can get on the freeway, and in 90 minutes you can be in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles. Depending on traffic, of course. Traffic is horrendous in Los Angeles, obviously. Sometimes
it hasn't been for the last 2 months.
No, but it takes about 90 minutes. The average is 90 minutes, but you can do it in 3 hours if the traffic is bad.
Yes, correct.
In Las Vegas, you can be in Las Vegas in 2 hours from where
I've done it. I have done it.
You can go to the mountains, and then, of course, and then you can go to Orange County, which is also about 90 minutes. You can go to Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm. Another 90 minutes, you can be at Magic Mountain, which is in Santa Clarita.
Yeah, well, Valencia, but close enough.
Santa Clarita, right there. And then, I mean, there's so much to do. And then, of course, you've got the desert out here. People are riding their ATVs. They're riding their motorcycles. They're out in the desert with their RVs. I mean, we have lots of desert things going on, lots of racing out there in the desert.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much to do here. It is amazing. I mean, this is the hub of just about any place or anywhere that you really want to go or anything that you want to do. I mean, also 2 hours, you can be in San Diego. If you stay straight on the 15, you can be in San Diego.
Oh, San Diego.
And Tijuana, Mexico is right there too.
TJ.
That's right. So, I mean, and if you head east, it's going to take you a while, but I mean, well, actually not really. I mean, if you want to head east, you go down the 15 and get on the 10, you'll be in Palm Springs in 90 minutes. I mean, there's lots
Yeah,
to do.
so pack up your bags, move here. It's the best place in Southern California to be.
I mean,
Not.
not the best place. The crime rates here are higher than
Well,
anywhere
that's
else.
because it's like one of the last affordable places in Southern California. So if prices get too high, in you know parts going more towards the coastal area, people move further out east. It's always been like that.
And speaking
It's
of crime rates, this is the other thing in California right now, which is unbelievable, 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 unbelievable. I mean, this is unbelievable. They have a zero policy for criminals right now who commit. It's misdemeanors, right? Is it misdemeanors?
I think so.
That if they are arrested, they are automatically released. They are
Well, you have to make
processed.
sacrifices in the middle of a pandemic. That just happens to be
Oh,
one of them.
come on, really?
I mean that's what they've chosen to do.
I disagree with this 100%.
Well, let me ask you this then: what happens if all of the jails during the pandemic are all to maximum capacity, and you still keep getting those people in there? Then what do we do with them?
Okay, but the reason why I say this
bottlenecks.
before we get into this controversy here,
We never got to Stater Brothers.
but there's people. I'll tell you about that in a second. Don't let me forget that. Okay, but here's the thing. Let's not get into this capacity thing, because these people are committing crimes. They're going into jail and they are getting sentenced and then released. Or not sentenced, but they're getting processed and released. Okay, and there's people now that are. There's a guy who went out and stole a car, and he got processed and got caught and got processed. Then he went out and stole another car, got caught and got processed, and then he went out and burglarized someplace and got
Sounds
caught.
like a busy week for
and
this guy.
He got in 3 times and out 3 times in one day.
That's impressive.
One day.
Are you serious?
One day.
That's up here? No way.
I believe it was down the hill, but there is a guy here who actually did who stole a car, and he had a chase here.
I want to interview that person because that's impressive.
He had a chase, and then he got processed and was out, and then he went somewhere else and burglarized something and got processed, and he's out again. He got out twice. So there's 2 criminals right there who have been processed and out, and they're probably out doing the same thing. They don't care. They don't care.
Right.
So why not? I mean, I understand it's a pandemic, and the thing is going to be you're going to be in jail, and of course, right now a lot of prisoners do have the coronavirus, which I don't understand how they're getting the coronavirus unless they're getting it from the sheriffs or somebody who has the virus, and it's because they're in jail. They're not around nobody. They can't get out. They can't go nowhere. Right.
Well, I mean, they're around county workers,
Okay, so they're getting the coronavirus from the county workers.
It's possible, and then we don't really know anything about, some of them prior to them getting, put in jail.
That's true. You're right. There's probably people out there who got put in jail and they already had the coronavirus and they committed a crime. And, and then they got in there.
Or they came in contact with somebody that had it.
Well, anyway, so that is that's another topic we could talk about later on, I'm sure. But anyway, yeah, it's crazy that this is happening, and I just disagree with it. I think they should be processed, and if you go out and commit a crime, you should not be out on bail, especially if you're hijacking cars.
Right. Well, no, I understand that totally, but then the problem too is. What are we going to do if they get full during the pandemic? I mean, then what do you do with everyone else that comes after?
There's so many things going on, and it's just unreal. And
now I could understand if they weren't getting full, and then this was implemented.
Right.
I can understand, like, there's room for them. There's no reason to catch and release, I guess. So why are we doing this? But I think it's the overcrowding that's happening, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm wrong, I'm just speculating, but please send us an email, leave a comment, and let us know what the story is. But I think it's because things are getting too overcrowded and they want to try to eliminate that. That's why the state made those decisions.
They let other people go that were already in the prisons too, or the prisons, the jails. They let people go already. They let thousands of people go already, and are out on the street now. And of course, some of them I'm sure are doing the right thing, but then there's others who are, you know, steady criminals.
Oh yeah.
Who are out doing things right now. So I don't know. It's one of those things where you have to decide. I mean, there's so many controversies out here that with this whole prison system, this whole jail system, this whole judiciary system that makes you go, what are we doing here? And there's going to be lots of controversy over this in the years to come, I'm sure.
Probably something stupid will happen, and then you'll find out that the criminal, was a part of that whole, I'm calling it catch and release. I don't really know what the name of it is, but like,
that's basically what it is. It's catch and release. You're right. You're right.
So one of them will be liable for something major down the road, and in the result of them staying in jail or whatever, they would not have done such and such, as an act. I'm sure all of that kind of, drama will definitely come up in the future, months down the road. Absolutely.
Well, anyway, so that's that story. And back to the Stater Brothers thing anyway.
Stater Brothers.
I felt like I was a prisoner almost. I felt like a prisoner a little bit. And not because of, I did anything wrong. I just went into the store. Yes, I wore a face mask. Yes, I Lysoled up. They were wiping down the carts, the whole bit. But nobody was social distancing. Not really. Not really. I was in the mayonnaise aisle.
Stranger danger.
Right. I was in that aisle and getting my condiments and stuff for sandwiches and things like that, and cheese and things like that. And people were like, there were like 12 people right next to me. And they were going, excuse me, I need to get this, excuse. And I'm like, dude, you're like, I wanted to go, get away, get away from me, get away. Stand back.
Coughed on him.
Warning, the robot, I didn't want to get away from me. I didn't want to be a.
You could have coughed on them. It would have been safe because you're wearing a mask.
Right. So. Excuse me, I just got back from China. I've heard that joke many times already. That joke, But yeah, I did. It was crazy that. I felt very, and then of course I had my mask on and I'm thinking, I can't breathe. What am I gonna? I wanted to take my mask off because I just felt like I was inhibited. I felt like I felt claustrophobic. I felt it was very weird.
Well, it's an adjustment.
It was an adjustment, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And I understand. I totally understand how people want their freedom. I understand how people want things to be back to normal. But this is a virus, and this virus is very highly contagious. You can make, and I understand people think that they're not being selfish by protesting. But there are people out there right now in the streets. They're protesting, and I saw pictures of them, and they're not wearing masks. They're not social distancing. Like Huntington Beach yesterday. Huntington Beach had 3,000 people on the beach, and they were protesting the whole situation.
Oh, yeah. Let me see if I can bring that one up.
You know about that, right? There was a lot of people up there, and they didn't have any face masks on. They were screaming into the camera, holding their signs. It was crazy. And, what's going to happen? Are they going to get, I believe some of them will be sick. I believe some will get this and be added to the statistics. And what's going to happen when they die, or what's going to happen when they get real sick? And they're going to spread it to other people because they don't seem to care. Now, is this really being selfish? We talked about this last week too. Is that really being selfish?
Well,
there we go.
If you're looking at the screen, this is what it looks like in regards to the protests. This is in Huntington Beach. This was literally yesterday. At the beach, people are not practicing social distancing.
There's 3,000 people in that crowd.
Yeah. Here's the problem with this. I can't take it serious. And the reason why I can't take it serious is because they're not practicing the social distancing. If they were protesting and they were wearing like the mask and they were, and don't they realize that if they were to social distance, it would actually appear larger as a protest?
I know,
because they're spaced out. I just can't take it serious when people congregate like this,
And
It is what it is.
Me neither. I can't take it seriously either. I think it's ridiculous that first of all, our freedom is not the issue here. I don't think our freedom is the issue. I mean, I do realize that we're quarantined, but you do have the choice to go open, to go out. You do have that choice. Your choice is not, you're not, they're giving you a choice. They're not demanding that you stay in, or this is not martial law where you're forced to stay in at gunpoint and this, that, and the other. It's not. You're still able to drive around in your car. You're still able to go out. You're still able to do things. You're still, but you can't do things because businesses are closed. That's correct. A lot of businesses are closed.
There's nothing to do.
Non-essential businesses are closed. Essential, people are going like, well, Walmart's is a non-essential business, but not really. I mean, our Lowe's, our Home Depot, these places have a lot of things that people need in order to survive.
Yeah, that's why they're essential.
But there's a lot of places like gyms who are not essential. You can exercise at home. We have an issue, another issue with a gym that is they're defying the closing, the mandatory closing of the non-essential businesses.
Oh,
right now.
yeah. Yeah. And here's the funny thing about that. It literally made national headlines. TMZ covered this gym here in Victorville. TMZ. It's a slow news day when you live in, the middle of nowhere, and TMZ is covering you. California gym defies state order. Here's what's funny about this, though. They don't mention the city of Victorville. This is in Victorville. They do mention here, though, by name, the guy who has said on his Facebook page that he's going to take full responsibility of whatever happens next. And it says San Bernardino County. So,
Right.
For all of you that don't know, fun fact, it's in Victorville. You can Google that if you want to know exactly where this place is. He ended up getting in a pissing contest on social media with a nurse, giving her a middle finger emoji.
He didn't like the nurse. He didn't like what she was doing. What was the deal with that?
He probably didn't like what she said, but here's how I look at that. Okay. And I don't care if I get some people upset about this. That owner, who you can read the article. I don't need to say his name because personally, I don't think he's worth the time of day, but to give him that recognition. But that owner, you have no integrity for you to sit there and get in a pissing contest with a random person on social media. Not only was it a random person, it was actually a nurse who's on the front lines.
Right, on the front lines. I mean,
who's a first responder taking care of sick people.
Right.
You have no room to be like that. That's totally unclassy, totally not professional. And what you just proved, a lot of people talk a lot of mess about desert rats or people that live in this part of Southern California. You just proved their point by the way that you acted online. You just proved everyone right who's ever said negative things about the community. You have no integrity. You should be ashamed of yourself, but you're probably not. In addition to that, I think the city of Victorville got so mad that they went to the county. I think this was just released today, and the county has helped allow the speeding up due process of this particular gym. This gym has 3 days to comply. If they don't, well, we'll see what happens in 3 days. We'll see what the city does with this gym. But the guy, the owner who has no integrity, he's going to take full responsibility. He admitted that. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I'm glad he's going to take full responsibility, but still, that doesn't mean that you should. These nurses, this is what makes me mad about this whole thing, seriously, is these nurses are on the front lines. You're correct. They're on the front lines. They are basically, in a nutshell, being on the front lines, they are like war heroes to me. Same thing with doctors, same thing with firefighters, same thing with EMTs, same thing with all the police department, the sheriffs.
Sure,
all these people. All of these people right now are on the front lines. Why? And here's the thing, it's going to be like when this whole coronavirus is over with, it's going to be still in their heads. It's going to still be in their minds. It's like being at war. It's like being, they're going to have the syndrome after the war. I mean, they're watching people die left and right all the time. More people are dying right now. They're watching them suffocate. And what happens is these people with the coronavirus, they are suffocating. This stuff gets into your lungs. It gets into your little areas of the little holes in your lungs that absorbs the air and he pushes it. This basically drowns you. This virus is not like a cold. Everybody says, "Oh, it's like a cold." Maybe to some it is, but it's not. Like when it gets bad. It drowns you. It drowns you. And you feel like you're drowning, like in a, like you've fallen off in the water into the ocean and into the sea, and you're drowning and you can't swim and you're drowning. That's exactly what this feels like for these people. And when they do the ventilators, they're inducing the coma. They put the ventilator in, and then you're there laying, hopefully that you will survive and be able to be taken off the ventilator. They'll take the ventilator out of you when you're able to breathe on your own again, and then they wake you up from the coma. That's how they're doing this. That's not like a cold.
No, not at all. And, what's even more irritating is, freedom of speech. This guy that runs this gym in the high desert, he put up this life-size poster on the wall outside of the U.S. Constitution, like it's supposed to justify his stupidness. Just, if that's the case, then everybody should have a screenshot of the U.S. Constitution on their cell phone, and just every time they want to do something stupid, just wave that up in the air, just so they can prove their point.
I agree. I think that this guy is totally wrong, and he's disrespectful to.
Hey, and like I said, people can get mad, but at the end of the day, you can't argue with me. What he did has no integrity. The fact that he is a business owner, he is a public figure in the community, he represents the community, and he has to get in a pissing contest with a nurse. Even if it wasn't a nurse, that just makes it worse. Even if it wasn't a nurse, just somebody in general, for him to break character and get to that level, you have no integrity. You're not a real leader.
Yeah, he's not breaking character. That is his character.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I stand corrected. Yeah. That is his character.
And that's what's sad about the whole thing is that, and it's not just him. It is many people that don't respect other people. They don't respect our law enforcement anymore. They don't respect our firefighters.
Right, but this just happened to make national headlines, so this is a prime example. But you're absolutely right. There's a lot of people out there that aren't respecting the firefighters, the police,
the nurses,
hospital workers,
the doctors. Right, you have to respect these people because they're putting their life on the line every day for you, for us.
True facts.
For all of us. I mean, we wouldn't be here, and we would. I mean, I just feel like I've always had respect for the police officers and the. It's the same thing with the president, and he's our president. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you should at least respect him. Obviously, it is your constitutional right.
I can't respect him though, Kevin. I'm sorry.
Well,
he's done too much. I just can't respect the guy.
Well,
I'm not going to sit there and go on a tangent about what I don't agree with. I can just publicly say and feel comfortable as a registered voter saying I can't respect him.
Well, that's your right to. You have the right to not respect him.
Freedom of speech,
but
U.S. Constitution.
But the problem here is that there's just so much of it out there. I mean, you're going to have to live with it no matter what. I mean, you will have to live with it. He has been voted in. He was voted in, and he is the president. So,
right. Here's the thing.
But before you have to work with him. You have to try to work with him. That's the problem here. Is these people are not trying to work in any. They're not trying to work with him.
What I was going to say was, I just let him speak, and people take it for what it is.
Absolutely,
it shows itself, and I just feel like by saying, "Oh no, well, I can't get behind that. I'm sorry." Like it just speaks for itself. I don't have to add to the conversation at all, But obviously, he's still the president. He's a leader of the free world. So if there's decisions that are made, yes, me as a citizen of the United States, I'm going to follow those decisions. Like even for the governor here in our state, because governors govern states. I'm going to listen. I'm going to do what I'm being told to do. I'm not going to get out there and defy stuff. But
that's the problem, though. People aren't.
I have to agree with it.
People are getting out there and defying stuff, like this thing in Huntington Beach. They're defying everything. They're not trying to work this problem out. They are
right,
not.
And there's consequences for that kind of stuff. And give it some time, and those consequences will show themselves, whatever they may be.
But he's the president, and you have to try to work with him. It's just like when Obama was the president. A lot of people didn't like Obama. Contrary to popular belief,
Who didn't like Obama?
a lot of-
Everybody loved Obama.
No, they didn't. That is not true. Not true at all. A lot of people did not love Obama at all.
I don't know what you're talking about or what world you're living in.
I'm living in this one, believe it or not. But I mean, and that's the thing about us, But
Obama was a national treasure. What are you talking
whatever.
about? He shot hoops. He played basketball.
Yeah, he played basketball, and Trump plays golf. So what? But it's just we all have to work together. It doesn't matter who the president is. We all have to try to work together to bring this country together. If we don't work together, this country's never going to become a united. It's supposed to be the United States. United, meaning we're coming together as one.
Yeah, that's irony.
It is.
Yeah.
Coming together as one. We're not united in anything right now. We're not united in this coronavirus. Let's try how to find a way to cure it. People are, we're not united right now, and that's what makes me upset about this whole thing. We're not united. People say we're all stuck in this together. No, we're not stuck in this together. Everybody has their own theory. Everybody has their own thing, from conspiracy theories to being selfish to being, scared to being thinking that, yes, you have. Do you still have your freedom? Yes, you do. You still have your freedom, people. Everybody is free. You're free to do whatever. And this is where
we run into issues.
Right.
Yeah.
You still have your freedom. You still have it. Nobody's telling you what to do. Everybody's making suggestions as to what is best for you to be safe during this virus. Everybody's making suggestions to you to what you should do.
But here's what I want to say to those people that are completely against the grain and are not sticking to the status quo and are on the streets protesting locally here, in that business that's a gym of some kind, or throughout the nation. Okay, so you don't want to listen to what's happening with this pandemic. Fine, not a problem. Please tell me what it's going to take, what the breaking point is, what the limit is before you stop and say, "Oh, I should stay at home. It's bad right now. This isn't good." Please tell me. I want to know. If you can't answer that out loud to me or other people publicly, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot.
I just think that to me, it's selfishness. You have to think you're not nobody. These people are not considering others, and I realize they're saying things like the people who are staying in are not considering the ones who want to go out. But the people who are staying in, they don't want to get sick. They don't want to die.
And that's why I want to know, because we all have those Facebook friends, all of us do, who claim this is a conspiracy. This was created in a lab. It was given to us from China, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Thank you for letting us know. Now, please tell me and us what the breaking point is. Now that it's here, what's it going to take for you to get on the bandwagon and respect orders from your local governments, your state governments, all of it? What is it going to take? How bad does it have to get before you shut your mouth and you start listening?
Here's something really a little bit ironic about the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
Police in California said traffic on a busy stretch of the highway came to a halt when people got out of their vehicles to retrieve medical face masks littering the roadway.
And I'm sure that was like an armored truck that tips over on the road and all this money comes out. I'm sure that's exactly what it was like. It was like free money for everybody, and it was a free for all.
This happened in Hayward, California, believe it or not. And a highway came to a halt when people got out of their vehicles on Wednesday when a large quantity of medical masks had spilled into the southbound lanes of Interstate 880. And it's so the people wanted. It was like people getting, money falling out of the sky. Money was falling out of the sky. The spill caused traffic delays. People stopped their vehicles in traffic lanes to get out and retrieve the masks. The Department of Transportation crew came with a sweeper truck, and they brought it in to clear the debris from the road. A lot of people picked up the masks, and I'm sure took them home. They were probably free.
Probably.
And the Hayward, the CHP, want to remind you it's never safe to step out of your vehicle onto an active freeway. Well,
I'm
don't,
so glad
don't.
that they had to explain that to us, because it's not like we didn't know that before.
You should stay in your vehicle and let them handle the debris. But
Safety tip of the day: don't get out of your car on an active freeway.
But people are defying that, right? They're getting out of their car and they're getting in the vehicles. They get out of the car and they're defying that whole situation. They're defying it.
Yeah.
Are they not? Is that not defiance?
I think that's defiance.
Here's another defiance thing. Check this out.
Checking it.
Andrew, would you get your own cure? Would you go out and try your own cure for this
coronavirus?
Yeah.
Do I have it, or is it to prevent it?
To prevent it.
No.
Check this out. I got to tell you the story. A man died drinking fish tank cleaner who he mistook a drug pushed by President Trump.
You know, I said it last week. I'll say it again. In the famous words of Miley Cyrus, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days.
Well, you know, President Trump was talking about hydroxychloroquine, which is been he's pushing it a little bit about maybe it's helping. It's a malarial drug. He's been pushing it to basically help with people who have the coronavirus, and they're saying maybe they could do something with that. Maybe make it a cure, a cure to in the future. Maybe in the vaccine. Same thing with remdesivir, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But this guy, what he did after hearing President Trump advocate for the drug hydroxychloroquine at his press conferences, Wanda Lenius says she and her husband wanted to prevent themselves from contracting the COVID-19. So they went in search of the drug. They took it upon themselves after being told, this is not something that you should be doing. Let us handle it. It's not safe to take it. This is not a safe drug. It has side effects. We're just testing it out to see if it works. We're testing it out to see if it does the job to help with the coronavirus. Same thing with remdesivir. Both of these drugs are not, well, actually the remdesivir has been approved by the FDA for temporarily helping to cut the coronavirus short and make people feel better. They've been feeling better within a couple of days. But these people went out in search of the drug themselves, and what they ended up consuming was, they actually took this drug that they found, and they consumed it. And it wasn't the antimalarial drug that Mr. Trump had talked about, but rather chloroquine phosphate. Chloroquine phosphate, a fish tank cleaner.
Oh my gosh. You know, I'm looking at a picture of this couple right now. They're in their 60s and they're from Phoenix.
They both became violently ill and immediately rushed to the Phoenix hospital where her husband died.
It makes me wonder what these types of people have done for a living that they would even consider doing such a thing.
What are you thinking? I mean, you grow up and your parents say, don't touch those pills. Stay away from that bleach. Stay away from those poisonous things. Don't touch that. And it's like the Tide Pod thing all over again. Why would, I mean, come on. Do you not have any common sense? Do you not have any common sense?
Yeah, I don't get it. What is it that they say on the Jeff Foxworthy blue collar tour? Here's your sign.
Here's your
Bill
Engvall,
sign.
by the way.
That's exactly what this is.
Bill Engvall said that. That was
okay,
his
yeah,
thing,
Bill, yeah.
Here's
your sign.
But it was on the same tour. But here's the thing. Why do you grow up? Why do you not have any common sense? They tell you nationally, there's no cure for this right now. We're looking for a vaccine. We're trying to figure this whole thing out. Stay in, wear a face mask. Don't take anything, don't go out. And they say basically in a nutshell, don't go out and try to find this yourself. Don't go out and do this. Remdesivir has been approved by the FDA to use for testing in the emergency whole thing of this, and it's working. It's working a little bit. It helps. It doesn't cure the coronavirus. It does not. They give it to people who have had the coronavirus, but it does shorten the length of time in several people. In many of the people.
So it's still experimental. It's not a for sure thing.
Right. There's nothing for sure. There's nothing curing this. But But this hydroxychloroquine is supposed to shorten it and help make you feel better.
Yeah.
But these people they went out and up on themselves, took the wrong thing because they went out and did it up on themselves and took the wrong drug, and they got fish tank cleaner. Fish tank cleaner of all things.
Yeah, I would love to get onto their computer and look at their Google search history.
Yes, it's funny. It's
10
funny.
minutes left, Kevin. Well,
It's
about
funny but
7.
sad.
What do you want to talk about?
Whatever you want to talk about.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Let's
wait,
talk about aliens.
Okay, we'll talk about aliens, and I have one other subject I want to talk about too, which you're gonna love. Go ahead.
So I don't know if you know this, but those unofficial videos that were released by, I think, Tom DeLonge of Blink 182, he has his own, organization about, aliens and stuff like that. It's finally been released and confirmed by the Pentagon. What are they? They're not called UFOs anymore. They're called something unidentified aerial phenomena
Really?
now. So it's the Tic Tac video of the fighter jets
Right.
at sea,
Saw
and the
that.
thing is like rotating, and they don't know what it is and stuff. It's funny because if you follow conspiracies, the president doesn't always know everything going on in the country as far as top secret stuff, and that's on purpose. And with somebody like Trump, yeah, if aliens existed, I would not tell him what we know as a country.
Really?
Because he was asked about this, and he was said that they do say, and I've seen and I've read and I've heard and I've had one brief meeting on it, but people are saying they are seeing UFOs. That's according to that's according to an ABC reporter in the White House. They asked him, do you believe it? Or no, I'm sorry. He said, do I believe it? Not particularly. So I'm curious to know, what does he really know? Like what has he been told to the degree? Because I don't think they've filled him in on everything.
So you don't think they filled him in on everything? You don't think he knows everything? You don't think?
No,
he knows?
because here's the thing. Culture shock. Newsflash. He's a very black and white individual in regards to the way that he views things. Trump is, and he's one of those have to see it to believe it kind of guys. And he's from New York too. So isn't that like a New Yorker thing? You have to see it to believe it kind of things.
Well, I'm not sure that. I mean, gosh, I don't know. That is a good question. Wow. I believe, first of all, if he asked and he really wanted to know, they would tell him, because they don't want to keep it from him. He does make a lot of final decisions on a lot of things.
Just because they tell him, though, doesn't mean he's going to be like, oh my God, it's real. Like, he has to see
Right.
things. If he doesn't see it, he ain't going to believe it.
That goes with everybody, though. A lot of people, if they don't see something, they're not going to believe it. I mean, people still believe today that we didn't walk on the moon.
Yeah. I think we did. I was back and forth with it for a long time, but I think we did. I think it's safe to conclude that we actually did.
Well, I
land on the
lived
moon.
during that time, and I believed, people say, oh, there was a string. I believe that we walked on the moon. I mean, they're saying like, I can see the string where they thought it was like, I believe that we walked on the moon. I mean,
Well, okay. So
you've seen rockets
institutes-
take off. They can get into space.
There's independent institutes that are out there that actually have telescopes that are pointing at the moon, and with the longitude and latitude coordinates, you can actually see remnants of all of those Apollo missions on the moon. You can literally see, you can't see footprints, but you can see the tracks, like the trail of where they were and where they went.
Right. You can see the
at
flag.
all of those sites.
I don't know if you can see.
I don't know.
I'm
mean,
just
it's
kidding.
probably a little dot.
I don't know if you can see the flag or not. I just wanted to throw that in there.
But there are high def satellite cameras that are actually around the moon. You can see this stuff. I think it's called Google Moon, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
But you can actually see this stuff now. It happened. We were there. End of story. And we're going back.
We are going to go back, and we're going to explore. There's no reason not to. Everybody's talking about, the Space Force. We're going to have. There's no reason not to have one.
I want to join the Space Force.
There's no reason not to have a Space Force. Sorry.
I would love to be in the Space Force. That would be amazing.
Back when I was a kid, I used to watch I was a little kid. I was, 6, 7 years old. I watched all the Apollo space missions. Before that, there was the Gemini space missions. Before that, there was the Mercury. I don't really remember the Mercury too much, but I do remember Wally Schirra and, all these great astronauts. They were heroes. They were heroes when I was a kid. And, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, those guys, huge heroes, and even the ones that were in the space shuttle, like Krista McAuliffe, who died in the Challenger crash in '86, and all these people are heroes because they expanded their freedom. They went to space. Against all odds, they went to space, and that's just I think that we should have a space force. I think we should explore other countries, other planets. The whole thing.
I think we already are. I really do. I think we have the technology. It's a top secret program, and we just don't know as much as we would like to know as the public.
Well, we have the Mars rover is out there, and we are flying things to Jupiter and to Neptune and all these different planets. They're not going to like Mercury because it gets too hot.
Of course,
sun.
Of course.
But I mean, they're going further into space and not. I would like to see something fly. I wish they could find something that would fly into closer to the sun or closer to
they do. They have satellites that are actually designed specifically for the sun, and they're doing another launch the next couple of years, but they've gotten pretty close to the sun, and they've had breakthroughs in regards to certain things with the sun.
Well, I agree. Do you believe in aliens? First of all, let's just wrap this one up.
Yes.
I
believe aliens haven't shown themselves because, can you blame them?
Here's my theory.
You're zooming past the cosmos. You can't make first contact on Earth. They're too crazy down there to do all that.
Here's my theory. There cannot be millions of planets out there.
Billions.
There cannot be this many planets out there without life on them. I mean, we're not the only planet in all of this Milky Way and all of this, and the Milky Way is inside of the space, I mean, it's a huge amount of space.
Yeah.
And there's got to be other life on.
Yeah, we're just one galaxy of billions of galaxies.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's more. I think there's more life on just this galaxy alone than there is.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. And it's only in the last several years that we realize, there's planets that are circling these other stars out there. They call them exoplanets. And I think the number's up to like 4,000 and some odd exoplanets now.
It's crazy.
How are you going to just all of a sudden start discovering planets?
It's crazy.
It was assumed, it was a theory that planets may circle other stars, but there was no way to tell that. Now they can tell that with science.
It's crazy.
I'm sure some of them have life on them, more than likely.
Obviously, and it could be lower life. It could be extremely smart life. It could be It could be dinosaurs. It could be anything. It could be any kind of life. We just don't know. But there is life. There has to be other life on other planets, and there has to be aliens.
I would like to think so because the way things are in this world, I would like to think that there are better places out there that do it right.
Well, I hope so. And I guess we in our lifetime will never know. But
speak for yourself. I'm on the next rocket out of here.
You're out of here.
Yep.
Huh?
If I get abducted, please take me. I'll send a postcard.
Space mail brought to you by
Space mail.
Let's talk about this one other guy too. We're talking about we'll talk about the world and world records. How about this? This guy, an Idaho man, believe this or not, Andrew, we could do this ourselves. We could make $1 million doing this, or we could at least get in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Okay.
An Idaho man took 43 hits to the face with wet sponges to break a Guinness World Record while social distancing.
That is stupid. Absolutely stupid.
David Rush has broken more than 100 Guinness records to promote STEM education, went outside in the middle of the Boise Street in Idaho there with his friend Jonathan Hannon to attempt this unusual record. Hannon threw 54 wet sponges in the allotted 30-second time period, 43 which successfully collided with Rush's face.
That does not promote STEM. There is no science. There is no technology. There's no engineering. There's no math in that.
But they broke the world record.
It's time management. That's all that is.
They broke the world record. Hannon threw the 54 wet sponges. 43 of those sponges hit the Idaho man, David Rush, in the face. The previous record was 36. 36.
Oh, my gosh.
I can't believe people actually even doing this. I guess he must really be bored with nothing going on right now. In the category of the most wet sponges thrown in 30 seconds, this team is the world record holders with 43 connected sponges to the face.
Wow. On that note, it's time to wrap the show up.
There is no evidence, though. They did say this, that no evidence that COVID-19 has ever been spread by throwing a wet sponge.
Oh, well, thank goodness for that one.
We're glad to hear that.
Yeah, 53 seconds. We got to go.
All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate you being here as always. I'm glad to be doing this with you, and thank you for listening to us. Let's talk about a few places you can check us out at. What's the email?
KOACpodcast@gmail.com.
Very good. KOAC
Podcast.
Thank you. At gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can also check it out on Kevin O'Neal Sound Labs. I have a website, and you can find the
Facebook at Best Podcast Ever. Kevin and Andrew have a podcast.
right. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us maybe you want to talk about a subject or something, and we'll talk to you soon.
Later.
It's Kevin and Andrew have a podcast. We're out of here, and we'll talk to you next week.